Hey, everybody, and welcome. I'm Haley Mitchell-Haugen. I am the editor of Sheila-Na-Gig Online and Sheila-Na-Gig Editions. And tonight we are here with a variety of writers from our winter 2025 issue, 2025-26, I guess, and just sharing some of their work and celebrating some poetry tonight and trying to keep it real. And we don't have a scheduled featured reader tonight, but I've invited a couple special guests that most of you all know, and they're going to kick off our readings tonight. And they are part of my board at Sheila-Na-Gig Inc. that I could not live without, and they are George Franklin and Barbara Sabol. So both of these wonderful people have curated issues for us. Barbara's currently curating our spring issue, and she brought all of you together for this winter issue as well. And both of these wonderful people do things like donate some of their royalties back to Sheila-Na-Gig to keep us running. And they offer me great advice behind the scenes, and they offer me support when I'm sinking, and are just wonderful friends and amazing poets, and have given me the honor of publishing multiple books by each of them. So I'm very excited to have their support. So we are going to let Barbara get us going today. And I'm going to let you guys do formal introductions. I'm not going to do that. But if you didn't notice today online, Barbara's book, Mapping the Borderlands, is featured this week at SAFTA. That's the Sundress Academy of the Arts in Tennessee for their wardrobe series, where they pick a book they call it The Best Dressed of the Wardrobe, and they feature poems from that book all week long. So we're very excited to have Barbara featured this week, and they've been really great at supporting lots of our Sheila-Na-Gig authors too. So that's really exciting. So Barbara, thank you for reading tonight, and want to chat a little and get us going.
Thank you, Haley. So good to see everybody. Pleased to be here on this, getting warm with poetry on a very chilly night here in Akron, Ohio. So I thought I would read two seasonal poems about winter and snow. The first is from the book Mapping the Borderlands, and it's called The Wild Wood. And this is a haibon, so you'll hear a haiku in the middle and a haiku at the end. The Wild Wood. Midwinter darkness is already falling as I trek through a foot of new snow, searching for my dog, Lumi. Venturing off trail through the woods, I hold out my lantern, the only source of light this moonless night. The park ranger says, coyotes probably got her. I'd rather imagine that she has entered an enchanted kingdom where a rabbit, seeing that she is lost, snuggles her in its burrow, or that she has found shelter in the bole of a tree. Hobo spider, I too spin my web. This morning, a call from a hiker who spotted a dog matching Lumi's missing dog picture. I drive to the edge of the park, miles from where I lost her 3 days ago. Atop a steep hill that arches down to a river, I call her long and loud, the way my mother would sing my name when the streetlights came on. A form takes shape at the bottom of the hill, a snow swirl, or my small white dog. Rib-thin, mud-slushed, exhausted, she comes limping toward me. I scoop her up, cradle her under my jacket, and together we bow to the benevolent mysteries that move through the forest. Right on cue. That's not Lumi. And there's a haiku at the end. Second bloom, frost flowers, glaze the field. I think Lumi liked that one. Beanie is my current dog. I think he liked that one. He appreciates dog poems. Anyway, and the second one is one of those careful what you wish for poems. This is called The Kingdom of Snow. The winters of my childhood live in a globed kingdom, an unsullied world of snow forts 2 heads higher than we stood, long slopes padded with flurried day upon flurried day, time a bright tunnel. I am losing count of the seasons. Our snowblower languishes in the corner of a garage, still shiny red, its paddles at the ready. Yet no great white sprays arc to the lawn, no snowmen or angels. In this long interlude, since snow draped from tree branch to roof to street, since ice prismed the morning, I miss the spell of that particular blue-white light borrowed from the skin along a newborn's spine, bottle of milk on a moonlit sill. Paper white, pure, that kingdom unmarked even by woodland animal. Now that I am advised to avoid extremes of heat and cold and any excess of excitement, I long for that commotion in my chest, where my heart kicks as I clutch the sides of a silver saucer, plunging and spinning at the same time towards some steep, bottomless joy. Thank you.
Wow, that was lovely, Barbara. Terrific. Thank you. Okay, I want to read 2 poems tonight that I guess if there's a common theme to them, it's hope, because it feels to me that we sort of need that at this point. I taught last year, the first of the poems it relates to a women's prison where I taught for a couple of semesters last year. I usually teach at a men's prison. This was sort of going off in another direction for a bit. The title is The Most Powerful Acts of Imagination Take Place in the Worst of Circumstances. It was published in the High Window in Britain. The women at the prison talked to each other about their boyfriends outside, about their children's fathers, about the children themselves, who would now be unrecognizable except for a photograph on a Christmas card several years old. The boyfriends wait for them. The children, no longer children, wait for them. Receive emails describing Thanksgiving or how they used to watch the news every morning before someone stole the remote or before a guard took away the remote to punish someone who fought with someone else over what show to watch. Whichever way it happened, the remote is gone, and no one can get another, even though if they were on the outside, they could have one delivered the next morning. Some of the women will get out soon, go back to family, boyfriends, the grown-up children. They may even see the ones who enlisted, who can't come back home or leave in camo fatigues, with the duffel bag on one shoulder and with stories they don't want to tell. Some of the women lost their children to adoption and don't know where they are or who they've become. If these women write letters, they don't know where to send them or what name to put on the envelope. On the outside, the boyfriends are waiting, going to work in cars they saved to buy, avoiding trouble, and speaking respectfully to police and neighbors. And the grown-up children are waiting too, even if they only wait for a woman in an old photograph, someone with short hair, young and tough, who always spoke her mind, got in trouble, angered her parents and the minister who'd baptized her when she was still wrapped in a blanket. The grown-up children miss what they don't remember. The women miss what they want to remember. I'm sorry, I'm coping with an 8-month-old Airedale that wants to get into the act here. So I apologize if I'm sort of shifting around like this. I'm trying to keep him in a half Nelson or something till, I can finish reading. Okay, the other poem is called Hibiscus Leaves, and it was in South Florida Poetry Journal. And there's some references here to Kali Columbia And some of the places there's an area called San Antonio that's pretty wonderful. It's an old area of the city. And my favorite cafe in all the world is there. Um, so that'll be a reference in here. Hibiscus leaves. There are no blooms on the hibiscus on the patio. It doesn't get enough sun. The shadow of the house blocks it most of the day, but right now it's a mass of bright green leaves that make me feel hopeful somehow, whatever that means. These days, I'm feeling my age. I look around at my books or on their shelves, the paintings and the photographs, even the espresso machine in the kitchen, and worry this is all there is to a life. Cookbooks where the recipes seem too complicated, but the pictures of the dishes are beautiful. Inherited Limoges porcelain never used, leather-bound editions unread. The dog asleep under the table lets out a howl, then another. He's caught up in some ancestral dream, chasing a wild boar in the woods of East Texas or fields of Johnson grass higher than his head. That animal's dream is something else that makes me hopeful. Heraclitus distinguished the world we share when we're awake from the private world of dreams. He said, follow the common. But I'm not so sure. Some mornings I wake up early and look at you asleep still, maybe on another continent, walking by the Rio Cali, or making breakfast in your apartment, or studying downstairs in that room with the terrazzo floor at the house in Colombia where you grew up. Smells of sancocho cooking upstairs. You tell me that in your dreams sometimes I treat you badly and leave you on your own at a party or disappear into a crowd on a busy street. I'm sorry. Tomorrow night I'll try to behave better. Take you out for coffee at Cafe Macondo in San Antonio, or for a walk up the hillside until a crack of sunlight returns you to our common waking. This also makes me hopeful, though I don't know why. Whatever hope means, it's not just a synonym for some idea made of words. It's a feeling made of light on hibiscus leaves. It disappears and then returns, like a private world shared between us, your hand resting on the tablecloth. Thank you.
Well, those were both such beautiful readings. I almost feel like I could go home now. I am home, actually. Um, and I feel already feel well nourished. But I'm going to carry on. Um, and I realize, George mentioned a common theme, and I think that the theme of the two poems that I would like to read is something about receiving what we need. Um, and I thought I would start with, if I can find it. Yes, I have a poem in the winter issue called What Water Knows, and this is another water poem. And it's called Listening to Water. Voices in the water always called to me. Once, clouds gathered beyond the river, piled all they had in one towering mass, and blew down the ridge thick with trees, blew across the rough and scrubby field, lighting each small house with an unearthly glow. The wind sang of water carried in the clouds sang of broad horizons. I watched them come. Once they reached the river, they broke open, poured their bounty on land and water alike. Rain ran down my skin. I understood. In time, we will all be washed clean. In time, our thirst will be answered. And then, thank you. I thought, so many of you may know these Women Speak anthologies edited by Carrie Gunter Seymour that Haley publishes, making these beautiful books of the collections. And this is really for Chris, who's not with us tonight, this poem in this year's anthology. It's called Hands. My father marveled at what hands could do. On the road, he stopped at diners for coffee or a meal, sat at the counter and watched the waitress, usually a waitress, turn and swing, coffee pot in one hand, table setting in the other. Plates, cups, heavy forks and knives and spoons all pass through her hands. And scrambled eggs, toast, slabs of bacon or ham, bottles of bright red ketchup, coffee, and sun gold juice. Nothing dropped, or rarely. Everyone was fed. Thank you.
So this is Julie Esther Fisher, and I am going to read the first poem. The title is What Iron Can Pierce the Heart with Such Force as a Period. In our father's house, a question mark lived in the room next to ours. Other parts of speech wandered the halls. Commas wept at the windows. Colons twisted in their beds. Exclamation points choked our throats. Our speaking marks were empty. We consented to the lock and key of his rules, anything to avoid his bedroom where the full sentence lived. The dash was impossible. We only dreamed of it, my sisters and I, while periods stopped us dead, stopped the unpunctuated, grammarless dreams we ought to have been having, where no participles were left dangling, no subject was deprived of agency, no object hurled and shattered, and no verb ever locked a door. We were the ellipses hanging at the end of things, the ellipses suggesting something better to come, three who barely made a mark. His rules and principles: do not break a sentence in two, keep to one tense, and as to his lessons on style, place yourself in the background, do not overstate or affect a breezy manner. Never use dialect unless your ear is good. Do not inject opinions or take shortcuts. Their hollers, his hounds boarded up for the night. What did they know or care for style or speech? The empty bowl was their only rule. An old ladder he was too drunk to remove angled against the house, like one side of a letter. A for abase, A for abjure. All the way down its rungs and rails shaped another letter, H for home, for heartbreak. All the way down the dash we only dared once. That night the hounds lay quiet in their kennels as if they knew. 6 girl feet, 20 paws wrote the word escape on the earth. We took the lessons in those woods, the decisions of ferns, the listening skills of lichen, the jousted calamities of fallen limbs. We bore the trials of trees, the hair lips of bark, their cleft palates, wired jaws. Lichen dusted our spellbound toes. It was scent now that mattered, finding us the shortcut through the woods to a road which would stretch before us like a long unfinished thought, not yet put into words. You are only 3 words, he said to us once, and a sentence with 3 words is taking the rules of concision too far. We were there, we were gone, 3 relative clauses running through the trees. The next poem actually was inspired by a quite old Ken Burns documentary about the spread of electricity across America. And this one is called At the Hour of Milk. When the barn lit up for the very first time, the cows in their stanchions gave no milk. The galvanized buckets, deep black holes, anthracitic as the ravens on the fence, 5 in a row, a line of them reaching the farm like the new electricity. They appeared that evening, hearing light, motionless, voiceless, as though whittled of coal. Beyond, in the eerie reach of the new light, the cows trembled, the channels for their filth all full, slow moving, a river of yesterday. Above, the swinging of glowing filaments. Yesterday's teats squinched by dawn pink fingers, polished into buckets. Galvanized, he always loved that word, progress, indestructibility, cheek to the warm, their steam in the bucket, their milk hides. His boy used to join him in the barn at the hour of milk, when sweetness, instinctive in both, called lip to dipper, and they tasted brightness. Beneath the new light, he counted the cows, mouthed their names, Jenny, Bertha, Plum. Clover shifted her square and jutting hind with its pendulous bag, hiding in her tender place the righteous milk. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Ann Chinnis from Virginia Beach. I'll read first my poem from the winter issue, Ode to the Atlantic Croaker, after Maxine Kumin, Credo. I believe in brackish water, a sacred place between salt water and fresh, my next ER shift waiting. In the river, its gaggle of chattering common terns, cattails purring near shore, my salvation. In the friendship of herrings, the poetry of tides. I believe in the EKGs of last evening, the spine x-rays of midnight, the newborn who stopped breathing, the waiting room's endless suffering. To the sea turtle, your shell cleaved by propeller, my outboard yields this channel to your ramble. To the Atlantic croaker, you may pilfer my bloodworm, hook, and bobber. After a night under the ER's fluorescence, I lie on my back in my boat for a nap, bow line looped around the blue suspension bridge. I believe in cumulus clouds, trust when I close my eyes, barnacles fly in blue-gray swirls, croakers sing, and oysters laugh in opaled colors. I believe the river saves me, my next shift always waiting. Thank you. And the next poem is Leaving. Where I visit you now sits on a hill rainbowed by sassafras in October. A one-lane road dead ends at Harmony Assisted Living. Where I visit you now, the lobby never misses a season. Pumpkins painted with black cat faces, a candy corn colored paper taped to your door, hospice comfort pack, morphine, atropine, stool softener, Xanax. I lean over your plaid recliner to hug you, friend of my heart, laughing into my hair. I have met someone here. Timing is everything. We eat Cheetos, catch up on nieces, their babies. I won't go through it again. Chemo, you mean? I remember hiking with you in a forest of hornbeam, asking, what do you wish for your 40th birthday? Tipping your face to the twisted bark, the stubborn orange, grace to face winter. My visit over, we crunch deep red leaves of the black gum tree that muffle your walker's scrape on the pavement, determined to walk me to my parking space, to tell me goodbye. He calls to you, limping past scarecrows, to place his hand over yours and steady your walker, as softly as a sycamore peeling. You wink at me, buttered leaves of the white hickory tree spilling around us. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Those are wonderful poems. I'm so glad I was invited to read tonight. I'm Dotty LeMieux. I'm in Marin County, California. And my two poems are the one that's in the winter issue. And it's about a diner, actually. Julie, I think you read about it, or Wendy read about a diner. And the other one is a little more current. So the first one is called The Perfect Diner Pour. Put on my glasses. When we were young, we took our life as fun, throwing politics and convention out the door, tootling down the highway, our coffee laced with brandy, singing, drinking and driving and singing about Jesus. And we laughed. Your laugh, a force of nature, starting small, but growing so gusty, the old truck rocked with it. I chortled, a word you don't hear much these days, just knowing one truth. Our life is good. We camped in out-of-the-way places, sleeping on a blow-up mat, and making mad, crazy love in the back of your Ford van. No encumbrances, no dogs, no mortgage payments, and who even thought about the price of eggs when top ramen was portable and cheap and easy to make cowboy style? But in the morning, no burned coffee over a smoky camp stove, but a real greasy spoon breakfast. Bacon eggs over easy. There's a diner in every town. And oh, that coffee, so bitter. And the waitress in her little waitress hat with 1950s hair tucked up under it. And oh, the perfect diner pour, deftly executed like God's own waterfall, 18 inches above the cup, doesn't spill a drop. And this one is called Urgent. Urgent starts the email or text, urgent to do this today. But what can be more urgent than a nighttime phone call? Loved one screwed up, arrested, no bail. Tree branch through the ceiling, roof blown away, water threatening. Embers igniting the fire-hardened house, wilted hose, melted tires. Bodies mangled in the mashup of two cars on a wrong-way freeway. Urgent care for the broken arm, ankle, shoulder. A last-minute deadline for health insurance to provide essential coverage, heart meds, insulin, breath machine. A mother reaching the end. Tonight, get here quick. She's going fast. A stranger at the door. Flat tire, lost his way, or ICE agents come to take a loved one into their darkness. The 911 call in the breathless night, help, send someone, police, fire, priest. Or is it just another politician trying to save a flagging campaign? Quick, send money now, urgent. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everybody. So I'm going to read the poem that is in this issue. It's called Villanelle from My Breasts, and it comes with an epigraph, which kind of pissed me off, which sort of inspired me to write this poem. The epigraph is, these bras are designed to empower those with smaller chests. Finding the right bra, no matter your size, is a journey. And that was the review of the Pepper Bra. Villanelle from My Breasts. Empowering your team these days is a snap. Push up those layabouts with straps and lace. Show them a bra's a journey without a map. Each one fit my boy snug and neat as a cap, ladling out cream while I rocked him or paced. Empowering your team these days is a snap. Hands once opened them like fancy gift wrap, and tongues like hummingbirds would flicker and trace. Tell them, too, a bra's a journey without a map. When Bobby Woodcock squeezed one hard as a trap in 6th grade math, he laughed, got to first base. Empowering your team these days is a snap. This needle at my chest now is like a wiretap. Doctor, take my history, I'll make my case. These B cups have been a journey without a map. Jubilees, tatas, oh, little bishop's caps. Who knows better than you to play it straight-faced? Empowering your team these days is a snap. I tell them a bra's a journey without a map. And this is an old poem I wrote in 2020, really in response to another tragic event that happened then with George Floyd. It's called, and it is to speak about hope, really. It's called When Pigs Could Fly. The first wave came in undulating V formations. Piglets, tiny as pugs, drifting over streets in Minneapolis, Washington in late spring. Later, potbellies could be seen overhead like jumbo jets, followed, some say, by great Palawan bearded sows all the way from the Asian archipelago. These were long-haul flights, miracles really, island hopped across the Pacific to San Francisco, Walnut Creek. The people were afraid at first, shut their doors, closed their blinds so as not to be judged by pigs passing outside their windows. But they began to notice how the pigs worked, in pairs, the way they circled their penmates as each first sprouted wings, the pierce of feather and bone through such soft flesh, painful but shouldered so bravely. And even as they transformed, the pigs remained true to themselves, compassionate, cheerful even, some opening the gates of their captivity to let the others out. A small passel at first, then the unstoppable droves of youngsters pushing through in places like Sioux City, Iowa, Northfield, Minnesota, Clinton, North Carolina. They self-taught takeoff and landing techniques, giving themselves names like Zoomer, Barky, and Mad Max, always clean and fond of order. The tide began to change, and there was a move to take the word porker out of the dictionary entirely, while the farmers stood agape, sounders of swine taking flight over their still frozen fields and over the towns of helmeted cops who we had stopped calling pigs, who we had stopped calling cops because they too were humbled and awed by what they saw in the sky. But there were also the bacon lovers and pulled pork eaters, the sausage and scrapple dreamers, the other white meat wanters who started their own movement when hell freezes over, who objected to the removal of words from the past, who were so fearful of change they could no longer parse nuance between black spotted and pig. How could they be blamed for what others had eaten before them? And what then about the others? Next, it would be the bovines, the salmon, deer, and cocks in their strutting red and yellow feathers seeking reparation. It was a dark time, difficult for us to imagine, so long before we were born, when the whole world was locked down, pulled apart, afraid of dying. A time when mothers told their own daughters, there will come a day when we part ways over which news channel you watch. Anger burned, and the land was a rage of promise. The mothers and fathers who had lost so much, grandmothers, grandfathers, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, whose contract with this world was broken, dreams caught in the throat. They were afraid, too, of how things repeat but never change. But then the pigs flew. They kept flying day after day that year. It was irrefutable. The fact of their earthbound bodies lifted up over the darkened houses, flying. There was some who said it would never happen. Thank you.
It was beautiful, Valarie. I'm Pam Anderson, and I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina. Thanks, Haley, for hosting this. So the first poem I'll read is from my chapbook that was inspired as a caregiver for my husband after he had 5 cardiac arrests and survived them. This is What Color Are the Blue Ridge Mountains? What color are the Blue Ridge Mountains? I ask my husband as we drive east on Route 33 towards Skyline Drive and the Shenandoah National Park. We debate this question as if it were the most vital issue of the day. Dusty blue, gray blue. It is 3 weeks exactly since his world stopped 5 times, twice in the ambulance, 3 times in ER. Widowmaker, a surgeon told us. A miracle he survived, said another. And it does seem like a miracle right now. Our car cruising comfortably at 60, John Martin's Solid Air whispering through the sound system, my hand snugged into his and resting on the console between us. Smoky blue, shadow blue. We don't talk about the days he lost in ICU, plumber's auger down his throat, and a balloon pump doing his heart's work. When I explain to friends, I demonstrate. This is his heart, I say, making a fist with my left hand. Over the top, I wrap my right thumb, index, and middle fingers. These are his arteries. In the webbing between index and middle, that's where it happened, where a speck stoppered his heart like a cork in a wine bottle. Ocean blue, rain cloud blue. I don't mention my newest nightmare, a dog that lunged at me, then snapped its jaws around my demonstration fingers, the way my free digits gripped its snout, bearing down and dragging the beast toward me, our eyes locked and terror growing, steel blue, slate blue. We drive, and I want to keep going, past our street and up the steep curving highway, past the fear that my heart might continue beating after his is done. And then the other poem is from my chapbook. Such a beautiful cover, Just the Girls. My daughter and niece created that cover. I love it. And this poem was inspired by having a Japanese exchange student, and my dad was a World War II veteran, and this would have been a complete issue for him. So the poem is Letter to My Dead Father about the Japanese girl who lives in my home. Yes, I know the Japs bombed Pearl Harbor in 1941, slit the white throats of Americans on the Bataan Death March, sent kamikaze fighter pilots to fiery deaths, silk scarves snapping in those divine winds. I know. But you don't understand. This is different. You must not brood over the Japanese girl who now lives in my home. I watch her. Her tiny hands wash the rice until the water runs clear. She smiles, a rare reward when a white-tailed deer wanders into our backyard. Her words are spoken so softly they could be rain tapping against the window. They could be the sound of forgiveness. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Pam. Really lovely. My name is Alison, and I'm coming to you from a drumlin hill in the farm country outside Madison, Wisconsin. I'm going to read two poems. The first one was in the winter issue. It's called Our Lady of Midwinter, and it's about a statue that my stepdaughter gave me that wasn't weatherproof. Wisconsin in the winter isn't kind to garden statues. Our Lady of Midwinter. In the frigid garage, the painted plaster statue of a young girl holding flowers gives the whole room an air of hushed and unexpected mercy. My stepdaughter gave her to me for my birthday years ago when I fell for the statue's stillness at the buy and sell shop in my small Wisconsin town. Painted in soft reds, yellows, and blues, the statue looked like a girl from the Tuscan countryside, not a saint exactly, but something better. European, the shop owner thought, assuring us the statue was weather safe. So I put her outside in the copse of oaks behind the house. Our Lady of the Wildlife Feeder, standing on a log, she watched silently as turkeys, deer, raccoons, and rabbits came and went. Rain slowly washed her delicate features away, carving white rivulets into the substance of her being, so that it looks as if her body was shaped by weeping. I keep thinking I'll throw her away or take her to the town dump, where someone else might take pity and claim her. But gazing at her ruined face, running my fingers over the streaks of rain embedded in her skin and simple clothes, whether working on her the way time has worked on me, I can't make myself do it. And so I've left her there, shining with something holy but unnameable in the underworld of the garage. So alive, she startles me whenever I drive up. Daughter I dreamed of but never had, standing alone in the cold, her eyes downcast, hands folded, the basket of flowers still held out, so real I almost see the petals shaking. It's hard to let go of her. The other poem I'm going to read, and both these poems, by the way, are going to be in my third collection of poetry, which is called American Lonely, forthcoming from Terrapin Books late in 2026. That used to feel really far away, but it's feeling less far away now. Because I live in the upper Midwest, Minneapolis is what's happening there is very real and very close to us. We know people there. And this is a poem. I don't actually remember why I wrote this poem, but it was a poem I wrote for comfort. I was thinking of that phrase that all of our mothers probably said to us when we were little and we were upset. They're there, they're there. It's going to be okay. So I felt moved to read this poem tonight just for a number of reasons, for Minneapolis and for the world, for all of us. I do hope I can get through it. I tend to get a little weepy at the end, so I'll do my best. It's called If There Were a Place We Could Visit. There, we say, when someone we love is hurt or worried or scared, stroking their hand or forehead the way our mothers did when we were young, summoning the ancient words of comfort from mothers everywhere, the restless child alive inside us forever in need of soothing. There, little one, we whisper, I'm here beside you. Everything's going to be all right. There. As if there were a house we could visit, a room we could return to where everything is safe. There changed from an adverb to a verb with special powers to transport us away from the sharp here of our troubles. The words a spell or incantation that summon peace and understanding, refuge and rest. Like that moment at summer's end when a hush falls over the world, goldenrod, asters, big blue stem, Indian grass with its silky seed heads, everything quiet and on the verge of being done, even the insistent throb of crickets reduced to a silvery hum. There, we say, soothing the one to whom we speak, our hands gentle on their skin, our presence all they need to fall asleep, while our breath rises and soars like a red tail surfing thermals until its color and shape are nearly gone. Higher and higher, that small spot spirals into the air, deeper and deeper the gift of breath, until the moment when we too forget to look, our eyes fluttering shut, the sky a blue room painted with clouds where everything is safe and nothing bad can happen because we are here with one another. There, little one, we say again, even if it is only to ourselves. There. Thank you.
Wonderful, Alison. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for these just amazing poems tonight. Just a nice respite, I think, from the world today, and just so wonderful to have the community and the friendship and the creativity and the hope. Right? It's all good. So thank you so much to our readers. We are celebrating our winter issue of Sheila-Na-Gig Online in our 10th year of publication. So pretty excited about all that. And you can find our authors' books and all of our online issues at Sheila-Na-Gig-blog.com. So come by and see us. And those of you still hanging out here, we've got some more readings coming up. Our Thursdays have really turned into our thing lately. So next Thursday, we have Jeff Burt here from California, and his new book is I just received them today, so they are shipping out now. And we have room for some extra readers for Jeff's event and also for Kirsten Christensen's event on the 29th. She's our Sitka, Alaska poet, and she'll be here. So I'm going to put the link in. I have it here. Yeah, this is the Sign Up Genius link. So I'm happy always to have you back, even if you've read at other recent readings. And if you're not even in the winter issue, but you're a Sheila-Na-Gig contributor and want to come, so Rick would love to have you come and read. And so sign up, because we're looking for some readers for those events. And thank you for those who just came to hang out and listen and support everybody tonight. Just always great to have you here. So thank you, guys.